Well, hello, folks. It's Dave here in Studio B, and tonight I'm talking about fast drive football, and we're talking about the fast action card edition from the Game Crafter, which you need to get. Let's just say that you need to get. This is from 3D6 Gaming, Al Wilson, and you might have played the original fast drive football. I know I did, and he had the little flip book, which was kind of neat, and it was all dice driven game, and it was fun. It was a fun game. Uh, it, I think one of the biggest complaint was the timing. It was he had the ticks and the whole bit, and that was a hurdle for me. I just couldn't get it, and it was me. It was me, but I just couldn't get it. And I know a few other people said that too. But it was is indeed a fun game. Once you come out with this one here, any issues or hurdles or things that hung me up on the game were gone. Just gone. That's just such a fantastic job. So I want to talk about this here tonight, and this is a live version of why I play Fast Drive Football. I haven't done a why I play video in quite some time. They're fun. You should do them. It just talk about the game that you like and why you like it. And I've done a few of these, and so I'm going to do another one tonight. And I will get to the chat in 1 second, but I want to run through why I play this game. All right. So I have my notes over here. So I'm going to look at my notes. The fast action cards, which are right over here now. Okay. Again, this is what they are. They've turned this game on its head and made it such a fantastic game. Okay. It turned a good game into a great game. That's what I'm going to say about the fast action cards. The Game Crafter components. You need to buy this from the Game Crafter. It adds so much value to the game. The cards are top notch. Everything's laid out terrific. He thought of everything all the way through. Things are two sided. The cards are two sided, so he cut down on you don't have a card for everything. If it's two sided, you save a little bit of money on that, so you don't buy so many cards. Everything is just like compact. It's really nice. You get the deck of cards for the fast action cards for the gameplay. Then you get the kicking ones. It's beautifully laid out. It really is. It's a fantastic version of the game here done with the fast action cards. And we talk about some people like to corner their cards, whether it's payoff pitch or whatever game you're doing. And some people like, well, I don't want to waste my time cornering cards. And other people say, I want to corner my cards because I want to have a high quality product in front of me when I play. And I feel like I have a pristine premier product if I corner my cards. Well, that's what this is here. You got fantastic quality components that you're playing with. If you've had the drive-through cards for shootout hockey or hockey bones, same kind of thing. If you have matchup college football, same quality products here. So it's always fun to play a game that you enjoy playing with the top notch components. It really is. So that's what the Game Crafter does with this game. The seasons are on PDF. They're team sheets. No, I'm sorry. They're team cards, I should say. They're not team sheets. They're team cards, but they're not individual players, is what I mean. And they're very affordable. And you can get the smaller cards, or you can get the enhanced seasons. And on the enhanced ones, what they do is they show you who gets the running touchdowns, who gets the passing touchdowns, and who's potentially kicking your field goals is what it is. And it just adds a little bit of flavor, a little bit of immersion to the game if you get the enhanced season. So they're all pretty affordable. I think they're $3, $4, or $5 or something like that if you want to buy them. So and they're full color and they're really neat to look at too. So I'm a color guy, so I like to look at the colors on the team when they match up. All right, so the fast action cards completely change this game. The Game Crafter components are fantastic, and the seasons are affordable. So let's get into the game. Okay, let's get into the game. The cards now, when you flip the cards, they're 30 seconds on a timing card. Okay, 30 seconds. Before, I think they were a minute 15. Okay, which is kind of awkward for a football game. It just is. It just didn't. It just was awkward. Now, though, when you got the fast action cards and they're 30 seconds a card, and it tells you how many to flip. So you flip a card, it tells you how long the drive is and how many more cards to flip beyond the one that you already flipped. Okay. Easy peasy. It really it took all the angst out of the timing with these 30-second cards. And let's face it, 30 second is much more relatable for us football people, right? We can all relate to 30 seconds. And so it's much more easier, and it's got more of a football feel too. When you're trying to break it down into the minute 15. I don't mean to keep harping on that because it was a fun game, but with the 30 seconds, though, it's just so smooth. The 30 seconds is smooth, and you see how long the drive is, and you flip your cards, and so you have the stack of cards here, right? So you have the stack of cards, and you see this like going down as you burn the cards. So you kind of see in the clock whittle down. You're like, how much time's left? Can I come back in this game? So the 30 seconds on the timing cards is fantastic. It really is. There's different drive times and lengths. So you flip a card, and it might be a minute drive or a minute and a half drive. So you're thinking 3 and out at that point. Nothing good happened. Or you might get a 4 or 5, 6 or a longer minute drive, and you know that they've had the ball a long time and they're chewing up the clock. And what's fun about that is if it happens like in the fourth quarter, and you got a team that's winning, and they flip like a 6 or 7 minute drive, and you're like, oh man, they are just chewing up this clock. And that's what you want them to do. And that's really kind of fun. Or if a team's trailing and they have a long drive, it's like, man, they are just taking way too much time to get this score. And so the different drive lengths are really fun. You get the feeling that you get a 3 and out, or you get a sustained drive. So I really do like that you have the different drive lengths. And it results in more or less drives in each game. So each game is going to be a little different. There are some drive-by-drive games that I play, and you guys probably know which ones they are. And sometimes they're locked in to how many drives you get. Okay, this is how many they get, this is how many they get, and that's the game. And I do like the games where you're not locked into how many drives, that you have a little bit of sway, that, maybe, you're playing, a game that's got more drives, or maybe you get a game that gets less drives. And so that's what this does here. It doesn't feel stagnant because you have different drive lengths that determine the timing of that. So, and I've kept track of that too. And sometimes I'm spot on with, 10 drives a team, and sometimes I'll get 12, sometimes I'll get 8. And that's what makes it fun, is that every game's a little bit different with the timing. I feel you get a lot of detail with the fast action cards and the team cards. I like the fact that you look at there's a little bit of narration on the card, so if you can just get the results and be done with it. But if you want to read like what happened, the running back was tripped up going up the middle, or he got around the end for the first down, or the quarterback was sacked, there's a little bit of narration on the cards themselves, and even the team cards. You can look at the team card, and you could see as a team like inept. They and I forget some of the qualities, but they're a bumbling defense or whatever it is. And it's like, oh man, that might come in and haunt this team, that they're just not that good. So you can look at the team cards too, and you get some detail from them. It's more than just an end of drive result. You do feel like you've been part of this drive to a small degree. Okay, as far as a drive-by-drive game, I feel it's not just here's the end of the drive. It's like, here's a little bit more. Why did this happen? Well, this team was not this, or this defense was not that. They're not a solid defense, or maybe they were. So I just feel like you get a little bit of the teams matter a little bit, I think, and that's the next point I was going to make. The team qualities factor into play. So each team, on the card, you get the qualities on the card. You guys know what they look like. I was going to show you what they look like. They have offensive qualities, defensive qualities. Sometimes they're semi quality, so you got to roll the decider die. But that comes into play. So you might flip a card that says, "Is the offense this?" If they are, then that might get them a touchdown, or it might just get them better punting position. Is the defense this? Well, that might prevent a touchdown, or maybe it'll allow a touchdown, or maybe it'll give them a field goal attempt. So the team qualities factor into play. So you do feel the better teams will get better results than the teams that shouldn't get better results. Okay, so I like the team qualities. Field position comes into play. Now, this is kind of unique, whereas you have the great, the normal, and the poor field position in this game. And that can determine all kinds of things. It really does. So, it says if you're in great field position, then maybe you get a field goal try. If you're in poor field position, well, then maybe you have a bad punt. Great field position, maybe you got a coffin corner punt. And we'll talk about punts in a minute there. But field position can come into play for both teams. It doesn't matter if you're good, bad, home or away, it'll come into play. There are some home field advantages in there too. Every now and then you'll get a card that says, is this the home team? Then they get a bonus on that too. So there is some home field advantage built in. Not too much though. I like the fact that there's not too much home field advantage built in. And so how the field position comes in is usually it's on kicks and turnovers. When you return some kind of a kick, it'll say, poor, normal, or great field position, and the same on punts and turnovers too, is what I meant to say. So if you get an interception or a fumble recovery, you roll the dice, you see where you are on the field. And sometimes you make a nice defensive stop at your own goal line and you get poor field position, but you got the ball. And other times, you're making a nice return off a turnover and you got great field position. So I like that comes into play. There's also year-specific results. So you flip a card, it'll say, is it this year or earlier? Well, that's usually my case because I play the older seasons. And then this happens. If it's not, then this happens. So I like that too, that it's not – there are some cards in there that bust it up. So, if you're playing an older season versus a newer season, different things happen because the game has evolved. Let's just face it, all games have evolved. And so you don't want the 70s or the 60s playing exactly like 2024. And so I think the game does a good job with that as well. Now, there are some end-of-half strategies, mostly in the second half, but there's still a little bit in the first half. And a lot of that comes in with the efficient quality and the inefficient quality. And those are the ones I had a hard time with the dice game. But with the fast action cards, it cleared up 99% of that. It really did. And it makes it kind of fun. So there's not a ton of strategy, but there's a little bit of strategy. So if you're winning and you get the ball, you can maybe burn more time off the clock, extend that drive. Or maybe you're down by 2 scores and you're like, well, I want to save as much time as I can. So I'm going to, shorten up the drive. And if you're inefficient, sometimes you don't have much of a choice. If you're losing and you're inefficient, you start burning that clock, and that makes it fun too. So you got the end of the half and the end of the game situations with the clock that you can kind of play with there, and then you also have your fourth downs. So there's situations you can go for it on fourth down, and then you have your desperation play and your onside kicks and things like that. I feel there's just enough strategy, and it seems like to me what Al was trying to do at the end of the game is make the end of the game very special and not so anticlimactic. Because some games you play and you roll the dice and that's it. He gave a couple of situations here. If everything falls into place, then you can do this and you can try for that incredible Hail Mary pass or whatever it is, a long field goal try. So he's really done a good job of building in some end of game dramatics. I feel, they can be a little confusing. Sometimes you got to really, read the results or ask a question in the group and then clarify a few things. But it's really fun when you get to that end. You're like, okay, what are we going to do here? How are we going to, pull this off? Do I field goal? Do I go for it on a fourth down? Desperation play, kicks, it just does a good job. The onside kicks, it's really fun. It is. He's done a good job with making the end of the game very dramatic and not so anticlimactic. That can happen in some drive-by-drive games. Let's see here. Some plays have split rolls of the dice. So it'll flip a card and it'll say roll the dice and 11 to whatever is this, and whatever the 66 is this. So you got to usually have a good result and a bad result, which is kind of neat. And so sometimes it's a 50-50 roll or a 60-40 roll, but I think that's kind of neat too, because it's just different things that happen in the game, and dice are involved. You will need some dice to play this game, just 2, I believe. Turnovers can happen, and you have a split roll on them as well. So sometimes it'll say roll the dice, and 11 or whatever is a fumble or an interception. If not, then it's just it's going to be a punt. So sometimes you're holding your breath while you roll the dice there if you're going to turn it over or not. And that's super fun too. There's a lot of little things in the game that give you some excitement in it, where it's not so automatic. I do like that. And turnovers can result in different field positions or a score. So you might, and I talked about that earlier, the field position comes into play. So on a fumble or an interception, you can end up in either of the 3 positions on the field, or you could even possibly run it back for a scoop six or a scoop and score or a pick six. Is that what they are? I don't know all the lingo. You guys have all this new lingo now for football. For me, it was just a touchdown. But yeah, I like the fact that on turnovers you can now score, and um, I think every team has a chance of scoring on a turnover, which I think they should. I think they should. I don't like to play games that say, well, this team never did this, so they can't do that in your replay. As you know, I'm not a fan of that. If it happened in the game, it happened in the game. It really did. Let me change my screen here, and we'll just change that up to this right here. Okay. Um, so I like the fact that the turnovers you can score on. Um, there's some rare and unusual plays in this game as well, and that adds to the different outcomes and the variety of things, and it mixes it up. So sometimes it'll say, okay, you got an unusual play, roll on the unusual chart or the rare chart, and there's some pretty rare stuff and there's some pretty simple stuff, and sometimes it leads to a score, or sometimes it's a turnover, or sometimes just a first down. But it's nice that we have these unusual charts that add to the fast action card results. So we again, it's kind of like the rare plays. If you've ever played a game with rare plays, when you get that on the odd chance, it just opens up a whole new set of events and results that can happen in the game. And again, I really like that too. Let's see here. Um, so safeties. Not too many games will give you a safety, but you can get safeties in fast drive football, and I've gotten safeties. I think I was actually on the Patriots. Actually, they had poor field position. I flipped the card. It says if it's poor field position, safety. It's almost like the praying hands on Facebook, right? Yeah. So safeties happen, and they have happened, and I really like that. I really like that you can get safeties in this game. All right. So now let's go to my favorite part of the game, and that's the kicking game, and that's something that there's a lot of games that just don't get into the kicking game quite as deep as this one, and still keep it a drive-by-drive game. So with the kicking game, the big thing, the big box that was checked off with this huge check mark was rolling for your scoring kicks, your extra points, and your field goals. Okay. There are some games that it's automatic. It's like the drive is a field goal. It's automatic. There are some games that extra points are automatic. Not a fan of that. I feel it only takes a second or two to roll the dice, and there's excitement on field goal checks and extra points. And how many times have I missed extra points in my football games? Even in fast drive football, I've missed extra points. I get an 11 to 64 and I'm rolling a 65. It happens. And I think that adds to the brilliance of the game and the fun of the game. It's so darn fun. And even when there's an 11 to 66, let's just say that a guy hit every extra point. I think there's a couple people, including myself, have built in a homebrew rule on the 11 to 66 automatic extra point. Whereas if you roll the 66, you roll again, and then if something else happens, the kick is missed. So there's always a small chance of missing a kick, even if you're perfect. Okay, I don't think you should hit every extra point, even if you did in real life. I think there's got to be a small chance that you miss it. Just like I think there's a small chance that a team that didn't return a kick or a punt or a interception or a fumble for a touchdown should have that small chance. I really, really do like that. Speaking of kicks and punts, they can be returned for TDs. And I do like that too. And I think there's a small chance that all teams can return a kick or a punt, a kickoff or a punt for a touchdown. I believe so. I think there's a small chance. Now, if you have the electric quality, then there's some additional chances in there to return kicks for touchdowns and return punts for touchdowns. So if you did do that in real life, there's more of a chance. But I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, that every team has a chance to return a kick or a punt for a touchdown. And that's important. To me, that's important. That's a big checkbox there. And again, I've played some games that just, if you didn't do it in real life, then you can't do it on the table. And I don't like that. I like to be able to have that in here. There are also different kinds of punts. You got your backup punt, so you backed up, in your own end, like down near the goal line. You got your normal punt, and then you got your coffin corner punt. So if you're in great field position, you can try to pin them deep. So that's pretty unique too, to have three different zones to punt from. But again, you can be punting from the backed up scenario and still pin them in poor field position. You can get the roll, someone can just get out of the way or whatever it is. So anything can happen in this game. But again, if you're punting from backed up, the chances are better they're going to get better field position. And if you're punting coffin corner, there's a good chance you're going to pin them with poor field position. And I've had that so many times where I have played the field position game where I get great field, like 3 or 4 times in a row, great field position, couldn't score. And I would just punt and I would just be putting the other team in poor field position. They would start poor field position every single time. And then they would punt from being backed up and, they couldn't get it out. And I would bring it back to great field position and coffin corner them in deep again. It was fun. It really is fun. So I like the idea that there's 3 different kind of punts there. And then punts can be blocked too. And I like that too, that you can flip a card and roll some dice and see if the punt is blocked. Again, it doesn't happen a lot, and you don't want it to happen a lot, but I really do like the fact that punts can be blocked. Okay, so I'm kind of wrapping this up, and then I'll go to the chat and see what you guys have to say. So wrapping this up, this game, it adds so much to a drive-by-drive game. I play a lot of drive-by-drive games, okay? And I like them all. I do. I like them all. This one just adds probably more than any of them. It really does. And just about anything is possible that happens in an actual football game can happen in the fast drive football. And the addition of the fast action cards are just amazing. It makes the game, the setup is so easy. You just deal out your cards and you're done. And then you got your kicking cards as well. It sets up so fast. It takes 45 seconds. As fast as you can count cards, you can set up a game. You really can. Shuffle them and deal them out and go. In fact, I even bought a second deck of cards, and I'm kicking around what I want to do. I don't know if I want to combine them to make one big deck. And Al said it wouldn't wreck the game, but it would create some different results. Because I'm thinking that, if this was a dice-driven game, if I rolled the same dice roll 3 times, right, I would get the same result. And that can happen with dice. With fast action cards, if you flip a card and it's gone, it's gone. But if you have a couple of decks, like with shootout hockey, I use 2 decks. So if I flip card number, 21, 21 is still in the deck. I still have 121 to go before I shuffle. And so I do like, when I play fast action cards, I do like to make sure that I'm not kind of burning my results. So I might combine the decks, or I might just use one deck for the first half, one deck for the second half. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with that. But I thought it would be fun because someone brought up, there are a couple of, what do they call, like boss cards, I guess, that are just like automatic this or automatic that. And you don't want them coming up too much, but do you? Are you okay with them coming up a couple of times, one for each team, maybe? So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. And someone had a good, when I posted this on the Fast Drive Football Facebook group, somebody made a good comment. Says, well, why don't you try it? He goes, we won't know until we try it. If you start getting some crazy results, then maybe we stop. But I mean, it might be a super lot of fun. Much like the shootout cards, you know what I mean? Because once you flip that 99, it's gone. Well, if you're using 2 decks, it's not gone. You still can get that at some point. And I do a lot of shuffling with my my shootout game, as you know. But yeah, I got a second set of cards coming in, and I'm wondering how that's going to work out. So I'm really happy with that. And again, Al is always there if you need any support. Al's always there to every time I send him a message or an email, whatever it is, or post in his group, he always gets back to me and clarifies some things. And I've pushed him a few times in some things. It's like, hey, can I kick the field goal now instead of trying to flip a card so I don't fumble the ball? And he's like, no, you can't. Again, I'm overthinking it here, but it doesn't hurt to ask. But anyway, so that is why I play. Fast Drive Football, the FAC edition. It really is. It's a fantastic. I can't recommend it enough. So again, there it is right here, and I got to get my second set of cards coming in. Can't wait. Tony won this. I bought this game for Tony, and it's going to go down to him as soon as Game Crafter gets it made, and so he'll be playing this soon. And I know a lot of us here play it. So let me just go to the chat real quick, see if anybody wants to add anything to this right here. Anything I said. There's a lot of highs in here. Let me see. And Philip says the big thing is it's quick and easy, probably 20 to 30 minutes of game time. Yeah, it is. It is a fast game. I play slow, as you know. When I play, I play slow and I like to enjoy it. I don't want to race through games. Even my simple baseball games, when I play basic modes, I don't like to rush through them. I want to enjoy the game and enjoy the stories that are being told and the things that are happening. And I like to look at my score sheet and say, well, geez, this team has started 3 times in a row from poor field position. They just can't. They're trying to climb back in it, but they can't. And that tells a story. It really does. Instead of just whipping through the game as fast as you can. So I like that. And Summerroad says I was cornering. I picked up a corner cutter or a corner rounder, I guess it would be. And it does. I mean, the cards here, the quality of the cards here are fantastic. And if you like playing with the better stuff, whether it's just rounding the cards that you have, rounding the corners of the cards you have, or picking up something like this, it just, and Hockey Bones is a good example. Is that you can get the PDFs in Hockey Bones or Payoff Pitch. You get the PDF and print them out yourself and just have them standard, or you can order the better stuff, and it is more expensive, but you're playing with high quality stuff, and it makes a huge difference. It really, really does. Yes, and Philip was talking about the enhanced cards. Yep, he likes to play with the enhanced cards, and that is that too. I mean, I have both, and I'm only playing with the enhanced cards right now because I have 1979 on the table. But yeah, I have the regular cards, and they're okay, but I like to see who's kicking. I like to see who maybe caught the ball, who's playing quarterback. I just like to see that stuff. I really, really do. And Mr. Baseman comes by. He says, "Good evening, all. Loving the fast action card version. Always like the original, but man, it's quick and fun." Yeah, and that's the thing about this right here. The it is night and day. I don't want to say they're two different games. That's not fair to say, but um, yes, this version here, the fast action card version, it's almost a different game. It really is. How you get the results, how fast it plays, the setup, the flipping of the cards. You don't have to go through any books or anything like that. It's all right on the cards or the small cards in front of you. It really is. I really like that. And Scott says I should have been paying attention to Canton. I saw him playing Fast Drive, Fast Action, but didn't watch closely. Yes, I heard that too. That they were playing that in Canton, and I heard that. Yeah, Al's got the Fast Action version of Fast Drive Football. It's like, oh, okay, well, let me see how it is, And then he showed a couple of videos, and I was like, oh my gosh, yes, it is. It is unbelievable. And Vinny comes by. Good to see Vin, my podcast partner. And he says he loves when a team has the exceptional return rating. I think it's actually electric, Vinny. I think it's called electric. And yep, electric. Yep, that's what it is. Yep. Electric as opposed to acoustic. No, electric is an electric. Like, when you get the Billy White Shoes Johnson back there or something like that. Was it Devin Hester for the Bears? Was it? And was that the Eagles? The Bears and the Eagles had some good kick returners in the 90s and 2000s that were pretty good. And Replay Fanatic comes by, and he says he loves Fast Drive. He's playing 1980 right now on week 5. I'm about to start week 4, and I might do that here tonight. Not right here. I'm gonna have to reset and set it up, but I actually might come back on in a few minutes and play a couple of games of my 79 season. I had a tough day here. I think we had some leftover Christmas food, and I had some of it today, and I was down and out all day. So I'm feeling better now, but it was a tough day. I couldn't leave the house. Let's just say that. That's how sick I was today. But I'm feeling better now. So I threw away all that stuff there. Don't want to touch it anymore. Um, and see anything else in the chat pertaining this here. And Replay Fanatic says, I seen the roll a lot of 66 and 65 in the extra points. I think I missed 10 extra points in the first few weeks. I did too. I missed a lot of points. And but in the 70s, that was the thing. You just roll and you miss, and it's half the fun. It takes away the automatic 7. It gives you 6, but it's not an automatic 7. And I do like that. I really do. Anything else here before I sign off here? I know you guys are in the chat talking about some other things. And Forrest brings up a good point. The only real reason to rush through a game is if you're doing a replay. Well, I guess it all depends. I mean, if you're just looking for the final score, maybe you're just not into the game. Maybe it's a couple teams you just don't care about. Then yeah, just kind of get the final score and be done with it. But I always like to. I like to look at what's going on, and I like to say, oh, this guy's having a good game, this guy's having a bad game, or maybe I can replace the quarterback. And again, it's all kind of window dressing, but it's still kind of fun when you're doing that there. But again, there's anything you want to do. Yep. And Vinny says, no need to rush. And you miss some key moments. Embrace your replays. Yep. And again, there's no wrong way. There's no wrong way at all. Some Road said, okay, I just ordered it. I'll fit it in with my app of baseball products somehow. Yeah, it is so fun. It really is. It's a good time there. And let me see. Anything else in here? Yeah, Scott brings up a good point. Appa in 66 is good and Fast Drive 66 is bad. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I did not have a good day. I'll fill you in later. But yeah, I was pretty sick today. But I'm feeling better now, so that's good. So anyway, all righty. Well, that is my video on why I play Fast Drive Football, the Fast Action Card Edition. Let me come back to my main screen. And again, this is at thegamecrafter.com. Look at Fast Drive Football. You can get the full box version, or you can just get the cards. I have ordered the full box version, and it's super fun. It is just a good time to play. The components are great, and it makes it feels good in my hand, and it's really fun to play. So I can't recommend it enough. Again, you do have to wait a little bit because you get put in order as the orders are received. So of course, around Christmas time, it's going to take a little bit longer. But when I ordered mine back, was it November? Yeah, it took a couple of weeks, and I got it. So anyway, all right. Well, I'm going to jump off here. I might set up a game and play a game here so you can kind of see how the game plays, even though I've already done some. But I might come back on in a few minutes. So if you'd like to see some gameplay from Fast Drive Football, come back in a few minutes and we'll see if we can spark one up. But I'm Dave, and again, that is why I play Fast Drive Football. Talk to you later. Bye bye.